Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre. Today I want to talk about letting it go. One of the pieces of advice that I give to folks when they're looking to grow spiritually is to pay attention when you find yourself experiencing coincidences, because maybe they're not coincidences. And one of the ways that that manifests most often in my life is I find myself having very similar conversations with very different people in a short amount of time. And that's almost always my higher power trying to get my attention. So the conversations I've been having over the past couple of days with folks are about righteous anger and ways in which we use anger to cover up pain. And what I point out to folks is there's no vulnerability in anger. There's an enormous amount of vulnerability in sadness or pain or grief or loss. And so I think quite often what we learned to do earlier in life was to cover up our vulnerabilities with anger. And it feels safe because, in a sense, we feel like we're protecting ourselves and we're pushing people away. And so the idea is maybe I'm safer alone. Well, if you're in addiction recovery or if you're in recovery from trauma or mental illness, we know better. We know that if we stay alone for too long, if we give in to isolation, nothing good is going to happen. So letting it go requires that instead of covering it up, I have to allow myself to identify what this really is. I have to allow myself to experience those emotions, and I have to be willing to express them. I wish that there were ways to let go of anger, for example, without being angry, or ways to let go of sadness without being sad. But anybody who tells you that there is trying to sell you something. So in order for me to let it go, I have to be mindful. I have to identify what it is that I feel. I have to do something that's actually really hard. I have to withhold judgment. I think quite often we try to think our way out of feeling, and we tell ourselves that we shouldn't feel this way or that we should be over it by now, and that never works. So if I can withhold judgment, then I can allow myself to experience those emotions, I can allow myself to express them, and I can share them with good people. When I do all of that alone, quite often I'm just recycling past pain. I'm not actually letting go of something. And so to me, that's the difference between suffering and grieving. Suffering I do in isolation, grieving I do by sharing pain with good people. And I always wish that letting go was a one-time event, but of course it's not. I can only let go of the amount that I express. So letting go is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. And as I continue to release, I have to make a conscious decision, because what I've learned, I've seen myself and others do this over the years, is that we bring out something that's really, really painful, and then without any conscious intention at all, we reel it back in, because we've carried it for so long that it feels like it's supposed to be there. In a very real sense, we're afraid to let go. And that's extraordinary to me. It's always striking to me, because the things that I have struggled to let go of are always things that I don't want to continue to carry. I don't struggle to let go of something that's good. I struggle to let go of pain, disappointment, fear. I've struggled to let go of loss. I've struggled to let go of things that were already gone, and what I was holding on to were a series of illusions. So if you're anything like me, this is hard, but covering it up ensures that we get to keep carrying it. And I don't wish that for people. I know that learning how to let go is a deeply emotional and spiritual experience, and I hope that that's something that you're open to and willing to do more of. When we tell people to lighten up, I think this is what it should mean. A little bit at a time, we get to carry less and less of our past, and we get to become more and more open to the good stuff. As I let go of pain, I make room for joy, I make room for serenity, I make room for more intimacy, better relationships, better friendships in my life today. So those are the things that I'm pursuing. I'd love to hear from you about your recovery goals and how things are going for you. Please, if you would, put a like on this video. Check us out. Sober Now's YouTube station has over 80 videos now of topics that relate to recovery. Would love to have you subscribe to that channel and share this with family and friends so that we can expand this conversation. Would love to hear questions that you have or topics that you'd like to see covered in future videos. Jim@sobernow.com is the easy way to reach me. Thank you. Please take excellent care of yourself. More important than ever that we attend to our self-care. Thanks. Be safe.